Just last week, Friday, you remember this guy. We had LJ Castro on the show. He talked about his role in birth control since women carry most of the burden in society. He had a vasectomy at 28 years old before having any kids whatsoever. Tonight, we continue our look at birth control with a woman who had her tubes tied, that's the old term, at the young age of 28 as well. Take a look. So, Lauren, we had a young man on just last week talking about getting a vasectomy because he says it should not only fall on the woman when it comes to birth control, men should play their role. You also had tubal ligation at 28 years old, very young as well.
So young to the fact where I will never forget the doctor confirming with my husband, as he was performing the ligation to say, hey, are you okay with this? And I remember being half knocked out from the anesthesia, looking at him like, you better be okay with this,
and what is the damn doctor doing asking your husband when it's your decision?
In 2015, that blew my mind. I was like, wow, I have the right to vote. I can open a credit card on my own as a woman, but to make a decision about deciding to not have any more children was still a decision that had to be consulted with my husband. And honestly, he was pretty shocked. He said, she decided this months ago. Mm-hmm. Who am I to try to change this today?
And that's one of the issues that many women struggle with today when it comes to Roe versus Wade and the abortion issue. They say many men want to make the decision for them when it comes to the Supreme Court, when it comes to Congress, but that should be a decision left up to them.
So, and I'm just gonna, say this. I believe that anyone who has the ability to be pregnant, that decision should be made solely by that person who has to carry that child. Pregnancy is not a walk in the park. In my second pregnancy, I was 10 years older than my first one, and my body felt 10 years older. Mm-hmm. And my daughter and I almost didn't make it. And I just wouldn't wish that on anyone who is not 100% wanting to be a parent. I actually became more pro-choice after becoming a mom because I said, nobody should do this if they don't want to.
And your main concern was living and the possibility that a pregnancy down the road as you got older would be more dangerous for you. And you said there's a family history with that.
Yes. So my grandmother, she lost 2 children before she had my mom. My mother had very difficult pregnancies with both my brother and I. And my second pregnancy with my daughter was extremely difficult. I was working, really enjoying the work that I did, and was practically on bed rest the last couple of months because of just the struggles that we had. And I had made a decision really long before that, given the history in my family, that this would probably be my last child. This would be my last pregnancy. And what we went through that night really solidified it.
Do you have any regrets at all, as they say, getting your tubes tied?
I don't have any regrets. And if there was ever maybe a twinge of a feeling, it doesn't outweigh the fact that I have 2 children here with me right now that I need to be alive and well for. And I hope to have grandchildren one day and nieces and nephews, and I'll have other babies in my life to love.
You wait on them to come down the road. And you said many other factors here in Texas played a role in making that decision as well. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I can say that Texas has one of the highest rates of uninsured people, so that's children and adults. There is very little care for people who are pregnant, very little aftercare, especially those who are on Medicaid. And so I don't want to say lucky that I was lucky to have private insurance, but I did have a child when I was in college and I was on Medicaid. And I remember being cut off very early, so much. I want to say I got 1 postnatal visit, mm-hmm. and that was it. And how they calculate maternal mortality is up until a year. So imagine you only getting 1 postnatal visit and then the state cutting your insurance off and you're just kind of left to fend for yourself. It's extremely hard to receive any type of social welfare benefits in this state. Even people who are working, like me and my husband, it's expensive to raise children. And so there just isn't a lot of incentive. There isn't a lot of resources. We don't have federal paternity leave here. There's just we don't have health care really. Like, you have to have a job to have health care, or you're kind of X'd out of the system unless you're extremely poor. There's not universal pre-care, there's not pre-K, there's not universal daycare. There's so many factors that inhibit people from wanting to have children. And that's why that question about why millennials not having babies always kind of grinds my gears, because there's practically no resources and no incentives, especially as me as a working woman,
Mhm.
to leave my job and to take care of children, and not knowing if I have a job to come back to, and also not knowing if those resources will be available should we fall on hard times.
You also mentioned, like in Texas, when it comes to the abortion law that's currently in place in Texas, 6 weeks. That's all the time you have to decide if you want to terminate a pregnancy. And if you
Mhm.
find out that child is putting your life and its life at risk during the pregnancy, you have only 6 weeks to find that out.
And it's not a full 6 weeks, because a lot of people think that, oh, you find out. So you don't find out that you're pregnant the day of conception. It
Right.
happens. And it's a 2 week, kind of
Right, right.
hanging up in the air. And so you may have, and so for a person like me, I suffer from polycystic ovarian syndrome. I have not had regular periods for most of my life. So I could go a month or two, which is what
Mhm.
happened with my first pregnancy, without having a period. And so imagine if you're 7 weeks or 8 weeks in and you realize, I just am not ready to be a parent, or I don't have the resources, or this is impacting my health. You really have no avenue to terminate a pregnancy safely. And what people don't understand is, you're never going to outlaw or eliminate abortion. What you outlaw is access to safe abortion. Many people have died, especially those who are Black, poor, trans, LGBT, those people that exist in those margins, have died obtaining abortions illegally and unsafely.
Well, Lauren, we want to thank you for joining us here on The Factor Uncensored. A trend we're seeing: more young people find alternative birth control methods, some permanent. But we appreciate your
Mhm.
time and sharing your story with us tonight here on The Factor.